Greetings, my name is Dr. Garret Kusch, and I wanted to take a moment today to talk to you a little bit about this process of change and transformation so that you fully understand the what and the why so the how gets easier. Now, over the last 10 to 15 years, I've been studying personal change and transformation. I wanted to understand the science, the underlying nuts and bolts behind how change and transformation actually takes place, how we can consciously understand it so we can utilize that knowledge in order to apply it to any part of our life. I spent 18 years as a practicing chiropractor, and in that time, I realized that to get true change and transformation, we have to go within. You have to go to the source of that change and transformation, and that's from within. So, before I get started, I want to assume that you do believe that your thoughts have something to do with your reality. Your thoughts have something to do with the life that you currently live now, the results, the circumstances, the conditions of your health, of your home, your relationships, of your friendships, of your car you drive, and the things that you have. The model that I use in this process of change and transformation to understand you is that your personality creates your personal reality. Now, that phrase was coined by the famous Dr. Joe Dispenza, who dedicated his life and is continuing to understand gain deeper knowledge into the understanding of change and transformation. And this simple model tells us that our personal reality, the life we live, the conditions and results in our life, are a result of our personality. Our personality is made up of how we think, how we act, and how we feel. And so the present personality that is sitting there watching this video has created the personal reality of what we call your life that you currently experience now. And so in order to change your personal reality, you have to change your personality. You have to become a completely different person. And this is where a lot of people fail because they try to change their life without changing themselves. I want you to know that we've all done this. You already know how to do this. We've all done something great in our life, and we've thought about things like what it would be like to have better health. What would it like to be healthy? What it would like to be wealthy, to be happy? And when we start to ask these questions, we switch on the creative part of the brain. When we ask these questions, we take a view, the brain looks over the landscape of the different areas. And through the knowledge we have and the experiences that we've had, which are the raw materials, the building blocks for our new life, we start to piece together the vision of our future, what we want to have happen. We start to think about the goals we want to achieve, the things we want to have. We start to think about who we want to be. When you get very clear on your future, we'll call that a clear intention. So when you set your goal or you create a clear vision and you have an intention and you start to begin to think about that vision in your day, you start to think about what it would be like to be happy, what it would like to be wealthy and have the freedom to do what you wanted in your life. When you start to think about the vacations that you can take, the people that you can help, the fun that you can have in your life, the passionate person holds this vision in their mind. And by thinking and experiencing that in the imagination, they start to experience the emotions of that future vision. And they start to experience those emotions before that reality has shown up in their life. And by doing this, they begin to change the brain and body, the biology of the brain and body. They go from living in the familiar past to living in a new future. Now, as I said, you've done this before. You've had to keep that vision alive every single day. And so you had to remind yourself of the thoughts you wanted to think. You had to think about the choices you had to make. You had to think about the actions that you were going to take on a regular basis. You thought about and reviewed your goals and your experiences over and over and over again. And as we did this, as we review our goal and our experiences, every time we do this, we feel more of those elevated emotions. We feel more of that excitement. And this starts to prime the body and gives the body a taste of that future. And at the same time, we also couldn't go back to our familiar personality. So we had to become very conscious of the thoughts that we didn't want to think anymore. Thoughts like, I can't do it. It's too hard. I don't have time. I'll do it when my kids are out of school. We had to make different choices. We had to become more conscious of the habits and the actions that we had to break. We had to be conscious of what we no longer wanted to do. We had to think about experiences with certain people, and certain things, at certain places, at certain times. And we had to stay aware of those emotions that were related to those situations, and we had to avoid those situations. So we no longer had those emotions which connect us to our past, to the familiar self. And by doing this over and over and over again, by repeating this, by practicing this, and reminding ourselves of who we wanted to become, and reminding ourselves of who we no longer wanted to be, we start to change the biology of the brain and the body to reflect this new vision. And when we do this, and we repeat this over and over again, the biology of the brain and the body begin to change. So that when we arrive at the vision, the goal, we achieve that goal, it's no longer the importance of getting new things and getting more things in our life. It's more about who we become in the process. So to change is to be greater than your body, to be greater than your environment, and to be greater than time. And that's the model I use in this process of change and transformation. And this is how you go from thinking to doing to being, to taking knowledge and information, and through practice and application, you begin to experience and embody the truth of that knowledge until ultimately you become it.